sees the means of production, and the like and subscribe button. So Republicans are currently working on their one big beautiful bill, the gigantic tax bill, which is going to be great for people in Elon's tax bracket, now that he pays taxes anyway, and not great for you. And also they're looking to cut a lot of spending. And even though Doge is bragging that they've already saved an enormous amount of money with their cuts, in reality, they're not actually doing that much. They're kind of fiddling with the margins. So where's that money going to come from? Medicaid! It's going to come from Medicaid. And other places, but, you know, Medicaid. Keep in mind, Republicans, excuse me, Republicans have been claiming they're not going to touch Medicaid for years. That's been their message for years now. Like, obviously they're lying, but they have been so aggressive. Was Medicaid even that big to begin with? Yup, it's huge. They're so desperate to not be publicly known as the people who are going to cut Medicaid. That's not an image they want to associate with. But look at what we're getting, huh? Republicans are weighing billions of dollars in cuts to Medicaid, threatening healthcare coverage for some of the 80 million U.S. adults and children enrolled in the safety net program. See. Republicans, who are looking to slash federal spending and offer lucrative tax cuts to corporations and wealthier Americans, now see a big target ripe for trimming. The $880 billion Medicaid program is financed mostly by federal taxpayers who pick up as much as 80% of the tab in some states. For those who don't know, Medicaid is administered on the state level, but primarily financed by the federal government, which means you pay your taxes to the U.S. federal government, who disperses a large portion of it to the states to pay for the state's respective Medicaid programs. That means that every state has different requirements for how they administrate their Medicaid. States say they're having trouble financing years of growth and sicker patients who enrolled in Medicaid. I'm going to say this once more. There is a way to address this. It's called universal health care. It's called Medicare for all. It's called a single payer system. One of the major problems with this spending, the reason it's so expensive is because the government is giving private medical companies and insurance companies exorbitant amounts of money to buy this care at market rates. That's the reason why the Trump administration is making it illegal once more for the United States to negotiate pharmaceutical costs with private pharmaceutical companies. Like, if the government wanted to just get medicine for cheap, they could do it. It's the government. But Trump and the Republicans want the government to instead go, hey, pharmaceutical companies, can I give you $1,000 per pill? Could I effectively facilitate a transfer of taxpayer wealth to your private corporation so that your shareholders can continue to lobby and donate in our favor? Okay. The reason this shit is so expensive is because we are overpaying for everything, and they're doing it on purpose. Anyway, to whittle down the budget, the GOP-controlled Congress is eyeing work requirements for Medicaid. Won't this disproportionately affect older Republican voters? Elderly people are backed by Medicare, not Medicaid, though there is overlap between the two if you are both poor and old, which tragic, but it's been known to happen. But it's going to affect a lot of poor people, and poor people did disproportionately vote for Trump in the last election. All told, over the next decade, Republican lawmakers could try to siphon billions from the nearly free healthcare coverage offered to the poorest Americans. Weeks before Congress began debating these changes, Republican governors in Arkansas, Ohio, and South Dakota were making moves to implement Medicaid work rules of their own, likely to be approved by President Donald Trump's administration. We're getting the work requirements, and other cuts could be on the way. Shrink the Affordable Care Act's Navigator program annual budget by 90% to $10 million. What Republicans are opposing? Speaker Mike Johnson of Louisiana has floated the idea of tying work to Medicaid. Mike Johnson, of course, the Republican speaker. This is the guy who does a mutual porn monitoring task with his son. So his son is like, have you masturbated to pornography lately? And the father is like, no, have you, son? And then they both I don't know, shake hands or touch tips or whatever. So yeah, average Republican family, this guy. They both look at each other's internet histories. Just normal conservative stuff. It's common sense, Johnson said. Little things like that make a big difference not only in the budgeting process, but in the morale of the people. Work is good for you. You find dignity in work. It sets you free, some have said. But about 92% of Medicaid enrollees are already working, attending school or caregiving, according to an analysis by KFF, a health policy research firm. Considering how much Republicans hate women, can you imagine if the work requirements that they put forward in red states didn't allow caregiving or like home rearing as a viable category to benefit from it? You know, Republicans have suggested a work requirement similar to the conditions for food stamps. Those aged 16 to 59 must work or volunteer at least 80 hours a month if they are not in school, caring for a child under age 6, disabled, pregnant, or homeless. So again, the conditions on this, man, the conditions on this. Those ages 16 to 59 must work or volunteer 80 a month if they are not in school, caring for a child under 6, disabled, pregnant, or homeless. What happens if you're caring for a child who's 7? You lose your Medicaid benefits. Literally, like that's it. You lose Medicaid. They're an adult now. They're 7 years old. They can go work in the mine. On average, a SNAP enrollee's monthly household income is $852. Dude, on average, a food stamp member's monthly household income is $852. This is like nothing. And the enrollee typically receives $239 benefits. $239 a month for food stamps. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's a rounding error on a balance sheet. Jesus. During a GOP House retreat last month at Trump's Golf Resort in Doral, Florida, Republicans said the requirement could motivate people to find employment. Maybe even a job that comes with health insurance. Oh yeah, I bet. The average Medicaid enrollee could just, you know, find a job with health insurance. Rep. Darrell Issa, California, said the spending cut should not be on the back of the poor and needy, but instead target those who shouldn't be getting the benefit. Why should somebody literally sit on the beach and surf, buy their sandwiches from the food truck with their food stamps, and then I don't know of many food trucks that accept food stamps because that's prepared food. I've never used food stamps, but I don't think this person exists. And then pick up low-cost housing and so on, while writing a book, noting he was describing a constituent from more than a decade ago. First of all, what? Literally, like, cobbled from the imagination. Second of all, what's wrong with this? I think that every American, everyone in the world, ideally, should be able to eat, enjoy shelter, and so on by default, no matter what. They hate freedom. They hate freedom. But also, this is made up. Buy sandwiches from the food shop with their food. Do you know how expensive a food truck is? There's, you know, $13 for your deconstructed street tacos in a little styrofoam bin that we've drizzled hot sauce on or whatever. The GOP pushed through a regulatory change that allows prepared food in EBT. Yeah, but that doesn't mean every place accepts it. Don't think I've ever seen a food truck advertising they accept EBT. Also, you'd run out pretty quickly. Whatever, I don't care. See it at the grocery store, or maybe like a 7-Eleven, whatever. Other cuts on the table include a proposal to change the federal government's reimbursement to a per-person limit. That would shift the cost to states, which might be forced to make tough choices about who or what they cover. Hey, guess which states are less able to pay for their own constituencies' Medicaid? Just, you know, just think about it. Yep. Sorry, I'm looking at percent of people covered by Medicaid/CHIP. West Virginia, Kentucky, Arkansas, Louisiana, New Mexico, Canada, and New York seem to be the most thoroughly covered ones. Though, of course, things vary in terms of their requirements state to state. Did I say Canada? Yeah, we'll go with it. That's fine. Cuts to the program could prompt upset with just over half of U.S. adults saying the government spends too little on Medicaid. Only 15% say it's spending too much. The American public, literally just linking to AP Norc, okay. The American public, most say too little is spent on Social Security. It's mostly like old people, you know? So orange is too much and blue is too little. Social Security, Medicare, education, assistance to the poor, we're spending way too little on that. This is all U.S. adults, by the way. And this is from 2025. Like, Republicans are really going out there, clown makeup on and everything, voting for Donald Trump, and then responding to a people with, yeah, we need to spend more money on Social Security, Medicare, education assistance to the poor, and even Medicaid. Okay, how are people this disconnected from reality? Have you seen this is what I mean when I say don't listen to Democrats when they say the voters want them to be more moderate. When you ask Americans how they feel about any individual issue, they all vote like Lenin. You know, like the median voter will say, I think the Democrats and Republicans both need to tone it down. They've gotten too extreme. And then they'll be like, you know, actually, I think the guillotine for my landlord and my boss, the government needs to spend 5 times as much on Social Security spending. Yeah, I do think that a job should be a human right guarantee. And I think that everyone should get free food and housing. And it's like, and then they'll like vote Republican because they think Kamala Harris was too extreme on trans issues or something. And then they'll do a poll on trans issues. And that same person person will be like, trans people should be treated with respect and not be threatened, but then vote to keep them out of bathrooms or something. I don't know. Don't listen to voters. Don't listen to voters. I thought you said meet them where they are. Yeah, I said meet them, not listen to them. God, don't listen to them. You think they're also going to cut Medicare? Oh, they're for sure going to cut Medicare. Yeah. They're going to say like, you know, Elon Musk's Doge has found immense waste, and that's the reason why you weren't able to get your appointment this month or something. Meet them, don't listen to them. So like that Dianne Feinstein clip. Listen, okay, she was cooking with something. But you know, the application could have done a little better. Trying to see how much like mainstream media attention the Medicaid cuts have been getting. I mean, we saw this clip on stream. Look, they're still desperately trying to...
Medicaid would not be on the chopping block?
No, look, Medicaid has never been on the chopping block. What we're talking about is finding the... it's non-benefit related reforms to the program, right? Medicaid is in...
See, like, they're still trying to pretend they're not doing what they're doing. Is it legal? Steve Bannon, dire warning for Trump and Medicaid cuts, breaking points? Who's talking about this?
Very fortunate to be joined this morning by April Verrett. She is the president of the SEIU. They've been involved in a number of actions against this current government and their illegal behavior. Great to see you, April. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So we can put this first tear sheet up on the screen. I know you all have been involved in some of the lawsuits.
Is how the sprint, and they seem to be throwing
to push back against these cuts.
Yeah. So first
that spans tax cuts, energy production, and border security. Put the next one up on the screen too. To your point about some unlikely bedfellows here, Steve Bannon is actually warning Republicans about this move. He says, Medicaid, you got to be careful because a lot of MAGAs are on Medicaid. I'm telling you, if you don't think so, you are dead wrong. So
that's actually like a pretty damning indictment too, because Steve Bannon might be the single smartest Republican strategist who actually like operates publicly. You know, Steve Bannon has been correct in basically every component of his agenda for making the world a worse place. So please don't listen to Bannon. Go right ahead.
Talk to us about some of the efforts your union is making to push back against these cuts.
Yeah. So first we have to know and remember 80 million Americans depend on Medicaid for their health care coverage in this country. Most of those are children, half are children, and a lot of them are seniors. And so it is just unconscionable to believe.
Would be cool if you guys did a single solitary segment on how cutting BS government spending is good and desirable. I love breaking points, man. So good. 99% of YouTube comments are bots anyway. Well, not mine, of course. It's genuinely difficult to find mainstream news channels that are talking about these proposed Medicaid cuts. Like, I don't see it. Like at all. Budget blueprints are boring. It's only a fab. Yeah, but these are potentially like the most disastrous budget cuts in mainstream American history. You know, they might actually end up being that. So we'll see. We'll see, man. We'll see. I see the damage report covering it. What do you think of Sagar? Hitlerite.
Say it's something less than that, but it's a lot. And we have to equalize with Europe because you're the great people from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. They're here to take photographs, and it's my honor to do so. Also, the fire department, the great firefighters. So they're here throughout the room, and I want to thank you very much for being here. I'll be with you in a little while. We'll do some great photos. We have plenty of time.
Yeah.
Policemen, police women, and firemen, firewomen, they're here, and we appreciate it very much. You've done a fantastic job. I think it's very important to state that incredible things are happening in our country. I think we've made more progress in 3 weeks than they've made in 4 years, especially with respect to the reputation of our country. And people are respecting us again as a country and as a powerful country, and maybe a smart country, but maybe not so smart, because when you look at some of the waste, fraud, and abuse that's being uncovered by Doge, and the people at Doge, these are young, often young, but super brilliant people, incredible computer scientists and other things, and they're finding levels of fraud and waste and abuse like I think nobody ever thought possible. But before we do that, I just want to ask Will to come over. I've just finished signing some executive orders, and if we could start with that, Will, you might want to come up here.
Can we talk about them a little bit?
Explain what we did. Thank you.
Good afternoon, y'all. A short while ago, President Trump signed three items. The first is an executive order relating to the affordability and availability of in vitro fertilization and other fertility treatments. These are treatments that have become unaffordable for many Americans, or have been unaffordable for many Americans Americans. And the executive order is a
backtracking?
directive to the Domestic Policy Council to examine ways to make IVF and other fertility treatments more.
Okay, this is another bullshit one. This is like we're officially saying that we're going to look into it.